everyone, JSD Cool here, and welcome to another episode of Coolcraft Season 5. In the last episode, I built this mega big combination farm thing here, which does all the processes needed from turning bone meal into clay balls. And, yeah, it was a bit of a process, and I've actually got a couple updates on this. First up, yes, I was able to get this thing to run fully until all of the clay's been going into the blast chamber. It's actually been running quite nice for a while now. However, there was at least one issue here where, for some reason, a couple of the sides of the blast chamber broke and stopped allowing blocks to be fed through. That was a nice, fun thing to fix. It didn't go too far, but it went far enough. The next thing is regarding the thing that happened in the last episode with this center unit here having blocks back up. So, I didn't fix the problem with this system here, I only mitigated it. And while that mitigation did a reasonably good job for AFKing at this farm unintended for a while, it still, as you can see, caused some issues. Mostly on the end here, with going back every so often a little less severely. In fact, this last thing here, I think, I'm not entirely actually sure why these ones did. I remember it's because I did something wrong. I think with the loading of the area, I accidentally left before the farm turned off or something like that. Thankfully, this was like the worst of anything happened. But as you can see, these other ones have moved down here, but it's still kind of rare occurrence for these to actually get pulsed. But as for what I actually did to fix this issue, so it's a non-issue, is I put observers here to detect when any one of these moves. When any one of these does move, it will then activate the corresponding repeater here, which will then bud power the corresponding piston over here to push the block that got pushed out down into this obsidian box below. Now, every time one of those repeaters activates, these observers up top will detect that, connect it to this redstone line, which that pulse will then be detected by this observer, which will then come up here into this pulse extender here, which once the pulse extender's cooldown has finished, will then pulse this TNT duper here, sending a piece of TNT down into this chamber to explodificate the bottom of whatever just got pushed out to keep this from becoming an issue. As I said, it's a non-issue, has been working flawlessly, apart from the fact that this is all to fix a flaw, since I put this farm into action. The farm is not the only thing that is working flawlessly, however. The transportation and storage system is also working completely flawlessly. As you can see, we have a lot of clay that has been so far transported over here completely autonomously without me loading any of the chunks and stored in shulker boxes. We recently also did have a minecart, as I believe the chunk loader here is activated. So, this brings me on to what exactly we are going to do with all this clay, as clay is not necessarily the most useful. Now, there's a few things that you can do with clay in Minecraft. Obviously, you can just directly smelt them into bricks and make brick-based things out of that. You could also the balls back into blocks and then smelt that to make terracotta of various kinds. Or you could just use clay blocks in general. However, what we're going to do is we're going to do, well, maybe all that stuff in the future, but as of right now, we're going to just aim for doing the bricks. Now, of course, in order to get that many bricks out of that much clay, we are going to need a super smelter, which I'm kind of surprised that it's taken until, what, May? As it currently is the 12th, but we'll see what that ends up actually being for us to actually get a super smelter. JD Cool, I believe, has one, and Tyler, I think, has something that he calls a super smelter. Whether or not it actually functions correctly as one, I don't know. But what I do know is that we are going to be building the largest super smelter on this server. Now, this super smelter may look familiar to you, as I have been using this super smelter in one form or another in every single season of Coolcraft thus far, although it has had a couple changes over time. For instance, in Season 1 and Season 2, the two original Season 1 had the original iteration of this, where we had the zero-tick bamboo trick for infinite fuel, which was effectively on the same design, but of course we didn't need to worry about fuel since that was automatically taken care of for us by bamboo. Of course, in Season 2, we also tried to rebuild that and use the bamboo trick as well, but my base did not accommodate something this large at, well, specifically the level I was building at, so it had a bend in it. Probably one of the more interesting super smelter designs that I've made. However, of course, later into Season 2, the bamboo trick was patched out, so that one was eventually converted over to charcoal, I believe. This design was actually first built by me in Season 3, I want to say, and we put chunk loaders beneath it, which, hey, we already have this whole area able to be chunk loaded, so we'll probably try to hook this into that later in this episode. But yeah, and we built this in my industrial district last season, so yeah. Let's then get to building this, shall we? Alright then, that did not take long, and to think this is my only plan for today's episode. Great! But, that being said, the super smelter has been completed, and I realize that my schematic is a bit out of date for some of the changes that I've had to make to this thing over the years in order for it to not exactly be terrible. Now, I still might want to add some of the chests here, but specifically things that I've had to change is add these hoppers here in case for some reason an item does not get deposited in any of the furnaces. We can recycle that item. And additionally take out all the normal rails that would go for the turns and just simply do them like this. Now this is because specifically with chunk loading in Season 3, I found that if it just had a minecart going around the corner, somehow they get stuck on the corners, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I guess this works. Additionally to that, I have shoveled shulker boxes. What is it? We're at, I think, about 18 shulker boxes worth of coal blocks have so far been shoveled into this. It is now full, but I do, I guess, want to stock this up, so I'll go get a few more boxes. So, yeah. Now I guess we can start smelting a crap ton of bricks then, because, not that we're using them in this episode, but it's nice to have them. Actually, before we do that, I need to go install chunk loading activation for this. Because, of course, this place already has chunk loader set up, I just actually have to connect this to them somehow. I think I know how I'm going to do that, but yeah, now I actually got to go make that system. Alright, the system to message the nether to turn the chunk loading on and off has been installed here, so as you can see, it is directly hooked up to this output from the farm here. Now, I'm hoping this is enough pulse extender. I could go back, look at Season 3 and see what I did for pulse extender there. But, yeah, once this hits, it'll go into this pulse extender. The output from that will then be sent to the information on the portal here. So while this pulse extender is on, one of these droppers will be activated, and when it's off, the other one will be activated, obviously. Now, each of these droppers has a different item in it, which will be sent through the portal. Notably, that there is obviously item sorters up here for the return item, so we actually put the correct item in the correct place. However, in the nether, it is a bit different. So, the items are collected from the portal here. They then run directly over item sorters, which are then linked to this little binary reset bit here. Whoops. Of course, if this system gets triggered, this redstone line here will be turned off, which will then ensure that the chunk loading grid down here will run. Obviously, it can then be turned on once the smelter stops and stop the chunk loading. Items are, of course, then sent back around through some droppers up into the portal where they are re-ejected out. So, now that we got this all working, let's give it a test. Alright, I stepped away for a while and let this device run, and everything got smelted down, as you can see. Some stuff is still filtering in, obviously, and I think the chunk loading has turned off, although I'll go check that in a second. So yeah, I'd say this is successfully finished. Next up on the agenda today is to do something about the fact that this is the portal that I use to get to the roof of the nether, and it is, not very easy to get there from my base. So yeah, I'm gonna create a path to there. A proper pathway to the nether portal for the roof has been constructed here. As you can see, it is just simply stone bricks all the way back to my base here, but it will now connect in nicely with the paths down here at the shopping district. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So, moving on, this season our situation in the nether has been a little bit, I'd say, sloppy, because we have the roof of the nether, which is like around here and then up here, and then it's just like this. But we also have the sub-roof region here where our ice path is, which, I mean, it's a little bit better, but it's a little bit messy because we got this path here, Tyler's over that way, we then have the end here, and then JRD Cool is right here. Of course, we then go to spawn and the mason and whatnot down that way. It's kind of a thing. We also have stuff going on over here. It's just kind of getting a mess. Not to mention that once we go down below the ceiling, we also have this mess from the beginning of the season, and I guess it is just like a fortress, so it's partially justified. So, today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this area. The rest can still go die of being horrible, but I'm going to try to make this area a little bit better. And I'm going to start by mining out a huge area around our portals. So yeah, I'm gonna get mobbed by something while I'm doing this, I can tell. Oh, and I've added beacons right there and there around here, just so that it's a bit easier to mine out this space, because yeah, most of this is basalt. That would take forever. Alright, I've dug out the upper layers of where this hub is going to be. And as you can see, it is quite big, and there's a lot of magma cubes spawning in here, which is kind of the problem. But yeah, we will eventually get this area spawn-proofed again, so yay! Alright, the final layers have been mined out here. Now you can really see what the structure of the paths we were working with here, and a direct connection to this portal, especially for mine to Tyler's, would especially be useful. So, now that I've done that, it is time to ice over the floor with a little bit of blue ice. The ice is in and the area is spawn-proofed because, oh my gosh, the magma cubes. I swear there should not have been that many of them considering all of this. But yeah, they apparently spawn very frequently up here. So yeah, I had to do this. But hey, I got this weird long boy in the boat here at Tyler, so I'm gonna leave that there. But yeah, so now what I have to do is I have to actually take down these iron bars and this arch of endstone here, and actually, yeah, replace those with buttons. And then I've got to replace the ice under these pressure plates with blue ice, because you can't just randomly get slowed down in the middle of the room. The bars and packed ice have been removed. I kept the pressure plates in place to kind of be like, hey, this is where the ice used to go, and this is where it only used to go, and obviously now we have ice everywhere. So what I'm going to do now is actually something I started doing over here, because I just needed a couple more buttons, is to actually put iron bars around the edge of this. That way if you're trying to get to a wall here, there's no little bit of a divot where the iron bars actually meet up with the blue ice. So yeah, gonna go do that, and also, you know, prevent the boats from falling out right here. The bars around the edge have been installed, and actually there was enough iron bars just from ripping up the ones around here to actually make that possible, so that was great. But now there's a few things that we still have to do. Actually, there's a lot that we still have to do. Whoa, that went fast. Whoa. Okay, sorry. Getting distracted here. Yeah, okay, so first of all, you'll notice there are some obstacles in here. I mean, this is not supposed to be an obstacle course, but clearly there is. So, like, this arch here, I will remove that at some point when I go... But actually, yeah, there's some point I will remove that because I'm going to decorate the actual tunnel to the end here properly. But more importantly, there's obstacles of this portal here, this portal here, and of course, not necessarily this portal, but everything in front of this portal here. However, I'm not going to be dealing with that right now, as I want to currently work on the ceiling a bit, as I'm not going to leave it like, this. So to start with, well, I guess we just gotta rip out the whole ceiling, but gotta put in some glowstone to light the area up properly, and then I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I might just, like, use light blue wool for the ceiling or something like that. And the walls will probably end up getting done, but as for what they're gonna be, I am not entirely sure right now. But, yeah, guess to get lights in the ceiling first. The ceiling is in, and, yeah, this place is certainly a lot brighter now that, you know, it's actually being lit up by the ceiling. Now, yeah, this is still kind of pain, and so is that, and all these portals, but yeah, so now I think we're going to actually deal with all these portals and holes in the floor that make it annoying to just boat around this place. So, yeah, let's do that. All obstacles have been removed from the Nether Hub area, and as you can see, I just have a that's a weird 2 letters that he just said there, but I have a Tyler in a boat with me. So yeah, I'm just kind of you know, moving around here. As you can see, Tyler's portal's been moved up into the ceiling here. We also have the roof of the Nether still accessible via vines, but then me and Jared Cole's portals have just been moved into the walls. The end portal archway thing has been moved over there, and yeah, that's what this is. Next, one more last thing. We actually still have access to the Nether below through this hole in the wall that I made here. So yeah, anyhow, next we need to actually make these walls look less terrible. So let's do that. And the walls have been wallified, I guess. I don't know, I just did white concrete because I couldn't really think of anything better to really do for them. I don't know, it looks fine, much better than the raw nether that there was there beforehand. Also, if I can get up here, I went and added some stairs up here to the nether roof, make it a little bit easier for that to be traversed now that we have jump boost here. So yeah, this actual hub part of the nether I think is now finished. So what I'm going to do now is, I think, going to actually properly decorate this end tunnel here. And then after that, I'm going to at least put some ice down this tunnel. So yeah, let's get to an end tunnel then. The tunnel to the end has been changed. As you can see, very endy. End stone bricks, end rods, all the things. You can actually see what you're doing in this tunnel now as well as there's being random stairs on the middle of the path. And at the end here, I just end stone bricked everything because I didn't want to bother with the design. So yeah, this tunnel is now done. And now all we have to do left in this episode is ice this tunnel. And iced this tunnel has been. Now, as you can see, I did decide to put some glowstone in on the walls to light this place up a bit. As well, I put slabs under the bars on the sides here because I couldn't decide on any particular stair. And I also moved this portal up from down below where it was. So yes, there's a magma cube there. Alright, I'd say that this has been a success. And with that success, I'm gonna have to say thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Check out my game, which is linked in the description, and I will see you all in the next episode of Coolcraft. Oh no, I broke the mud. Season 5. Bye.